welcome to the Tournament Center here at Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch in Atlanta. I'm Brian David Marshall, and I am joined by two-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor Jacob Wilson. Jacob, every time I talk to one of your teammates about this Colorless Eldrazi deck, they said, you got to talk to Jacob. You got to talk to Jacob. What was it about this deck that you saw being a weapon of choice to bring to this modern Pro Tour?
Well, one of the most broken things in Magic in any format is fast mana, and Eldrazi Temple and Ivugin are both crazy. And new cards are always exciting. They haven't been tested before, so I thought maybe they'd be really good.
Okay. And then, Luis Scott Vargas compared this deck favorably to playing Caw-Blade at Pro Tour Paris. Has the deck really felt that broken, or?
I think we have 17 players playing the deck, and our win rate is over 70%. That's pretty unreal, I would say.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the cards in the deck. You mentioned new cards are fun. Reality Smasher, fun or?
Fun for me.
What about Reality Smasher makes it leap out to you as a card that you want to bring to a modern tournament?
Well, modern is very fast. A lot of the time you can play against all sorts of combo decks, and having haste is really nice. It kills them quickly, doesn't die to lightning bolt, and as an extra bonus, if they want to kill it, they have to discard a card.
Okay. Thought-Knot Seer?
Thought-Knot is definitely the best card in the deck.
Okay.
It kills them really fast, and you get to disrupt them. Like I said, there's a lot of fragile combo decks.
And then, in your deck, what turn are you typically playing? Like Thought-Knot Seer, I've played against it on turn 4, and it feels unfair. But you guys can actually play it on turn 2?
Turn 2, a lot of the time. Turn 1 if you want.
Okay. Matter Reshaper. Not a card we've seen in all the Eldrazi decks this weekend.
Yeah, I love Kitchen Finks, and this card is very, very similar.
Okay. I've heard it compared to Coiling Oracle, Solemn Simulacrum, and you compare it to Kitchen Finks.
Yep. I had a great story about that. My opponent killed it, had a Aether Vial in play, and I said, do you have any responses to the trigger? He said no, and I flipped a Pithing Needle, and he couldn't use it anymore.
That's pretty sweet. And then finally, Eldrazi Mimic. When people were thinking about the Eldrazi decks, they were thinking about big, expensive creatures being cast very cheaply, but this is actually way on the other end of the curve, and you can pay it without even paying any mana.
Yeah, with Ivugin, you can play it for free, as many copies as you want, and this leads to the most explosive draws. You can kill on turn 2 if you have 3 Mimics.
Oh, and what are you doing, and then casting a Reality Smasher on
3 Mimics, turn 1, turn 2 Reality Smasher, they're dead.
Do you guys have a little sticker you get for doing that?
I don't think anyone's done it in the tournament.
Okay, did it happen in playtesting?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, let's take a look at some more of the cards in Colorless Eldrazi. We see Simeon Spirit Guide. So this is, you talked about fast mana, you wanted even faster mana. Why 4 copies of Simeon Spirit Guide?
Like you saw, the best cards in the deck cost 4 and 5 mana, and with your 2 mana lands, you can cast them on turn 3, turn 2, and you don't really have a good play on turn 1 a lot of times, so Simeon Spirit Guide lets you jump your curve a little bit, and the cards are definitely worth the card disadvantage that this card provides.
Yeah, players at Jacob's level hate card disadvantage, so when they resort to it, something broken is happening. Spellskite, just something weird might happen, give me a Spellskite.
A lot of people are playing Infect and Burn at this tournament, and it's nice to just have a card that colds a lot of their spells game 1.
Okay, and then one of the older Eldrazi from Battle for Zendikar, Endless One. What is that card? That card's just
It's the perfect card for the deck. You can play it turn 1 for 2 with Ivugin or Eldrazi Temple, or 20, turn 10, whatever you want.
What's the biggest Endless One you've made in this tournament?
Probably just 12-12, but I prefer 2-2. I like that one better.
Okay, let's keep moving on through the deck. We see Chalice of the Void, 4 copies, and this to me is one of the real big distinguishing characteristics of your Eldrazi deck.
Yeah, I'd say that this is the best part about the deck and what made me really happy to play it. I don't remember who suggested it, maybe Sam Party, maybe somebody else. Everyone on the team basically gathered for any colorless card, any Phyrexian mana card, and we tried most of them.
And then where are you playing this card, and where does it really shine for you?
You might have noticed in the deck tech there are 0 1-mana cards in the deck, and 1-mana cards are often the best cards in Magic. Zoo, Burn, Infect. Almost every deck plays a lot of 1-mana cards, and we play none. And ideally you play it turn 1 off of the Simeon Spirit Guide, and that by itself should win a lot of matches. All
right, Dismember, 4 copies. Ratchet Bomb, 2 copies, that's basically your removal package?
Yep, that's the removal. Once you get past Dismember, it gets pretty ugly. We had Spatial Contortion, Titan's Presence, but Ratchet Bomb is my favorite, and it's good against Affinity particularly.
Okay, and then let's take a look at how this all comes together with the mana. Eye of Ugin, Eldrazi Temple, those are the big, that's your fast mana that you talked about. What do you want to see in your opening draw? I mean, Eye of Ugin, legendary 4 copies, does that ever become a problem?
Oftentimes you'll draw 2 and it's a dead card, but that's fine. You really, really want one of these cards in your opening hand. If you don't have a 2 mana land in your hand, in your opening 7 you should mulligan almost for sure.
Really? So
yeah.
Even if you have an otherwise reasonable hand that might get started a turn later, just don't do it.
Yeah, definitely take 1 mulligan, maybe 2, and then you can consider keeping a hand with that 1.
Okay, so we see the fast mana, but then there's also creature lands, Blinkmoth Nexus and Mutavault. What are those cards doing for you?
Well, we're playing no colors in our deck, so we don't have to play any of these silly colored lands. So all of the lands that don't make 2 mana also produce value. Blinkmoth Nexus is great against Affinity and Infect, just a good blocker, and Mutavault is a good attacker. It's also Blinkmoth itself, so you can pump it.
Okay, there you go. And then let's take a look at what's left. 4 Ghost Quarters, 3 Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and 2 Wastes. So how did you round out your mana?
Well, Urborg also sort of becomes a 2 mana land with Eye of Ugin because it normally doesn't tap for mana. And we have 4 Dismember, so it can save a lot of life. Ghost Quarter is just a really good card right now. It's okay in the mirror, and you can Ghost Quarter yourself if they have Blood Moon and find Waste.
Okay. And Wastes, was that a card you expected to be playing in Modern as soon as you saw it?
Oh, certainly not. Even the first versions of the deck had a Swamp or a Mountain, but Waste is really good against Blood Moon, like I said, and so many people play Path to Exile or Ghost Quarter. I think you should play basics in all of your decks.
Okay. So if you were going to give some advice to people going to Friday Night Magic, thinking about playing this deck, and if he gives you this advice, you should listen to him because he's quite good at Modern. Jacob, what would you tell people who want to play this deck on Magic Online, play it at Friday Night Magic? What's the one thing they need to know about playing this deck?
You should have a 2 mana land in your opening hand, and if you're not sure what your opponent is playing, just play Chalice for 1, and hopefully that's good enough.
All right, for Jacob Wilson, this is Brian David Marshall signing off from the Tournament Center.